What's going on, everybody? Sabus here, and I'm back today in Vermintide 2 after the closed beta test reset, and I have got for you today Mercenary Markus Mercenary. Now, Mercenary Markus Mercenary is a lot like the starting Markus Mercenary that we experienced in Vermintide 1, and he's very good at crowd control, which is AoE. Taking out a lot of enemies, and then also helping out your teammates in tough spots. So let's go over his passive and his career skill. His passive is paced strikes, hitting 3 enemies in one swing, grants 10% increased attack speed for 6 seconds. Attacks cleave through more enemies, and increased crit chance. So what that means is using this polearm, the halberd, or any other two-handed weapons that go through a lot of enemies is going to be really good for him, because hitting 3 enemies isn't too hard. Even with some normal attacks, you tend to do it. And 10% increased attack speed for weapons that take a long time to swing, like these larger weapons, is actually really significant. And you can keep getting it over and over and over, 6 seconds, 6 seconds, keep repeating it, refreshing it, to the point that in certain fights you never actually run out of it, which is really good. And to go along with that, his attacks just generally cleave through more enemies, meaning that it's easier to get this. And he also has an increased crit chance, which is one of the, I think one of the big things that you should look for in trinkets with him is increased crit chance. It's really good. And then his career skill, morale boost. He grants nearby party members a boost of temporary health and staggers nearby enemies, which is really good when you're getting overwhelmed and can't get one of your massive swinging power attacks in, because if you're getting overwhelmed and you keep getting staggered every time you try to power attack, you use this, you knock them all back, you charge up a power attack while they're all on the ground, hit 3 of them, and then you've got that 10% increased attack speed, and you can just keep going and going and going. And it's really useful for your allies as well. If you realize someone's getting really low in a health and they're being mobbed by a few Storm Vermin or Chaos Warriors, go over to them, morale boost, they gain a little temporary health, and it staggers them. And when it says staggers nearby enemies, it should say staggers all nearby enemies, because it also staggers rat ogres, chaos spawn, all of those guys. Even the big guys get staggered. So it's really, really useful if you've got a teammate who's in trouble. So now my build with this, I tend to use the Great Hammer, the two-handed hammer, that's what they call it. And I have one with stamina and increased attack speed. Not exactly what I want. I want crit damage or crit chance, but currently I'm not trying to craft anything because I'm trying to craft for Barden so I can grind him better. But I think this hammer is probably the best. It has, like it says in the bottom there, wide sweeps, crowd control, shield breaking, and shield breaking is actually a really big component of why I like this the most. When you're using the great sword or the halberd, it gets really tough when you're facing even the Skaven with shields, the clan rats with shields. It's really tough because you'll do this big swing thinking that you're gonna hit a bunch of enemies, and then you just stop halfway through because one guy's got his shield up. So having the block breaking with this is really, really good. And it also has really nice overhead attacks. It's got 2 overhead attacks and then a swing. The headshot damage is insane with this thing, as you can imagine. A big hammer like this coming down on someone's head, you can imagine it's going to do a lot of damage. For the secondary, I have the repeater handgun. And again, this is shield breaking, it's versatile. This has crit chance and crit power, which is really good. Not that it really matters, but if you get the extra crit chance from your anything, or he just has extra crit chance, so it's pretty good for the crit chance. I think this is just like a last resort. You gotta do a bunch of burst damage. You can just real quick wind it up, let loose a volley, and go from there. Definitely don't main this with Kruber. At least, yeah, no, don't main this with Kruber. It's not good, it's not accurate. Like when you're spinning it, the accuracy doesn't increase. This accuracy is pretty abysmal. As you can see, hitting a man-sized target at this range, you can be expected to miss, especially if you're moving. You're not going to really hit anything. And the rats are even smaller, so they're even more difficult to hit. So don't main this thing. Use it as a backup just in case. Use it for stuff like Gosh, all the names are escaping me right now. Assassins, gutter runners, globadiers, all those guys. Use it for only like an as needed basis. You don't use it as a main. And then like I said with the necklace, charm, and trinket, right now I'm just using the highest level stuff that I have because for the most part I don't have too much stuff, unfortunately, but I would definitely look for crit chance or crit damage with him since he generally, like I said, has a higher crit chance. Anything having to do with critical is just going to be nuts with him. And then we've got the ult here, which is ready. It's nothing spectacular. He yells, says a line or two, not a line or two, just a line.
A fine day,
and yeah, so I'll just
as
hit it so you can see the shockwave.
your eyes from Helmgar.
There you go. He won't say anything in here because he's not fighting, but that's pretty much it. You could hear the break back there, but we're going to go ahead and jump into a battle here so we can see how he performs. I'll go with one of the new maps. Let's go with Empire and Flames. And yeah, I'll see you guys in a minute. Alright, so we're coming on to what is probably my favorite map, I'd say, currently. Usingen, this is actually the one that we saw the Carillion gameplay reveal trailer, the teaser trailer. I think it's actually really good, and this is where we saw Carillion fight and everything.
These poor souls.
Because there's a couple Chaos Warriors out here, but they'll actually be pretty good for me to show off how good this thing is at killing armored targets and how much damage it can do. But like you can see there. Okay. As you can see there, it does a lot of headshot damage. Like, those over-the-head swings are powerful. And now we've got a few guys here. You can see the stagger on this thing is also absolutely insane. Like, it's one of the only weapons that staggers the berserkers there. I forget exactly what they're called. But against small enemies like the Chaos Grunts here, no problem at all. And with the increased attack speed, you can just smash straight through them. I love this thing. This is actually one of the first weapons I got. Not this exact weapon, obviously, because the power level is way too high for the level. But you can see it's super easy to get that increased attack speed. And then the headshot damage, like I said, absolutely insane. And like against these guys, just easy. And this is what I'm saying, use it as a backup. When you see a fire rat come out like that all of a sudden, just whip this thing out. It's pretty rapid fire. It shoots a lot slower than Vermintide 1, but it is really good for just real quick whipping it out, taking out an enemy that's high risk, and getting back in. Alright. I'm hoping for a horde soon, because this thing against hordes is absolutely lethal. You can see, even already, I'm getting the increased attack speed. And I don't always use it, but against the horde, it's really, really useful. And I know I keep saying that, and I really hope that I end up getting to a horde. But then in a situation like this, too, when they're crawling up after you, super useful. One thing I wouldn't recommend, though, with this thing, is going in just regular left clicking. Because like as you could probably see, the overhead swing isn't exactly amazing for multiple targets. In fact, it's very bad against multiple targets because it's just an overhead swing. Even against these little guys, I'll only be able to hit one at a time. Even if 2 of them are lined up, I can't actually hit multiple of them. Ready? Look at that. Chaos Warrior, no problem. Staggered. And you can see it staggers the Berserkers as well, which very few weapons do. I'm honestly, I think only these great weapons that Kruber has does. And if you can also, as you see, I'm knocking around the Chaos Warrior even. Like, it's really good, this hammer. Just the fact that it's a really supportive weapon. You get a lot of kills, obviously, because you're swinging like an absolute madman through everything. But it's super good for supporting your teammates. I'm not even going to need that because I'm not even going to finish this. But if you knock them down, your teammates can come through and finish them off. People like Carillion using the single-handed sword, or Sienna using her single-handed sword, or Barden using the big-ass pick there. They can come through and clean up everything that you don't finish. Which a lot of times you finish a lot. But here we go. This is a pretty big horde here, and you can see, just knock them around. And one thing that I think, if you're playing with or as Kruber in his mercenary form, you should probably prioritize healing because he's meant to be aggressive and get in there. This is not a passive hero. Like, he's not quick enough to be passive. You can't dart in and out and like do quick damage to kill and then back out. Like, no, he's meant to be on the front, swinging his hammer or sword or whatever you decide to use, and just taking out as many as possible. Like that's fine, just overhead them. But there we go. But he is meant to be on the front. Don't set this guy to the back. You can see here, his attacks, if you overhead on shields, it actually makes them drop their shields. Not the Storm Vermin, but a lot of the others. Now I'm going to power attack him. There we go. He's got another horde here. You can see, he hits enough enemies that I'm not even getting hit right now. I'm just swinging, knocking through them. We do have a chaos spawn here. I'm just gonna bomb it. Also, another thing, I didn't save my ult unfortunately for this, but if I ult while the chaos spawn has someone, I'm barely paying attention. Or not paying enough attention. If I ult while the chaos spawn has someone in their hand, the chaos spawn will actually drop them. Which is really good because you can prevent the chaos spawn from healing. You can prevent storm fiends from shooting fire. You can prevent the trolls from vomiting. Like, it's really useful. That's where I just came from, isn't it? It's really useful to interrupt these big attacks. That's not where I came from. I am going this way. Which not a lot of other heroes have. They can't really stop a lot of attacks from these larger foes. So he is really good at it. I think that's pretty much it though for Kruber. Crowd control is the name of the game with him. Like, these masses of enemies, he can just go in and knock them all out. No problem whatsoever.
Looking at all this,
and yeah, just make sure he gets his healing and make sure he gets in the front there. So thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all next time.